Trunks is here, and Dan and Drago joined the Dragon Clan. I am Haru, and welcome to my review of episode 2 of Gen 3. So, spoiler warning, if you haven't seen this episode yet, go back and watch it now. But if you have, sit back, relax, and enjoy my review of episode 2 of Gen 3. Okay, first off, I actually really can't get over this catchy theme song. It's just so good. So the first part is Tyrannosaurus Flex. We're starting with the battle between Mantid and this random Bakugan that I think is a saved video from a live feed or something. There's no way this is actually live since the last episode they banned brawling. Also, what the heck? Executive producers? Typo there. But Dan is depressed because of the ban on Bakugan, and Griffin is even more depressed because of not finding Trunks sooner. So in response, the Bakugan actually all got part-time jobs, I guess to fill their hyperactivity. The amount of political commentary on immigrants is astounding. By the way, see if you can spot a change in the voice direction.
Bakugan brawls are outlawed, and it's the worst thing in the world, like celery!
It's manager!
Cheer me up, but it just makes me feel like peanut butter without any jelly.
Peanut butter still works on celery.
We were playing sports ball, you know, where you hit the ball with a stick through a hoop and get a touchdown!
You can tell just from the pace of how the voice actors deliver their lines, there is a clear rush to try and synchronize their dialogue with the animation. Almost sounds like it's meaningless witty banter thrown at the last minute to try and sound funny. Since this was animated by a Japanese studio, they clearly animated it with Japanese dialogue in mind, so the English dub clearly had to make some changes. But somehow it just doesn't sound natural. Now, granted, there were some parts where the previous generations did that from time to time. In fact, there were some parts where Devin Mack famously put his own improvised lines in there.
And I'll get some training in too. 2 birds, 1 stone. No offense, Falcron.
But now in this generation, it seems more often than ever before. Sometimes it just really feels out of place, like trying to add humor to a scene where you're supposed to be depressed.
It's depressing. I thought watching this would cheer me up, but it just makes me feel like peanut butter without any jelly.
Peanut butter still works on celery.
And it's the worst thing in the world, like celery!
You hate celery. Got it.
That doesn't work! It's just playing with the audience's feelings, and it distracts them with the confusion of trying to figure out how we're supposed to feel in this moment. So Griffin's Bakugan Radar app is going off, and it's the arrival of a new Bakugan, so the Misfits go to meet it. They meet the Dino Bakugan Trunks, voiced by Doug Hatters, who seems to be putting a very grisly drill sergeant-like voice in Trunks as if he's like some war veteran from Vestroya. It's definitely different than what Yukal Shillingford did in the last generation, where he put his Caribbean heritage in to make Trunks' accent. When Trunks wakes up, he immediately attacks Drago, thinking the war on Vestroya is still going on, and the ensuing battle attracts the attention of Chip and the task force, so the Misfits go on the run.
How about this?
Tony! You stop that music right now!
I wrote it.
No way! It was good!
Wait a minute, in this scene they're running down what looks like a long alleyway, but in the previous scene when they're hiding in the dumpsters, they're already at the end of the alley. What? But Griffin and Trunks are cornered, and this feels very uncomfortable to watch by today's standards. But Griffin and Trunks pair and they escape.
I can't believe this is happening. Tyrannosaurus Flex.
Roll credits. Mia and Griffin managed to get away in a really cool looking scene where Trunks and Ventry are side by side together, but Dan and Drago still have a wanted level. But they are saved by Cage, voiced by Carson Gale.
Name's Cage.
Oh god, they still kept that in. Also, did Dan really just ditch his scooter? Also, these task force people were just staring at them the entire time and never at all decide to actually try and stop Dan and Drago. So now we continue with Let There Be Lava, even though the title on Netflix says The Dragon Clan. Jesus Christ. Cage brought Dan and Drago to Iceland, where the Dragon Clan's secret hideout is. Okay, what is it with these transition effects? When Cage is walking away, it fades to black for no reason, and when they reach at the end of the tunnel, it's flashing white, but immediately cuts to Cage and Dan. Then cuts to the actual arena. Why are these scene transitions all over the place? I swear, I did not edit this footage. Just look at this.
Cause this dump is really a secret entrance. Are we inside the volcano? That's right.
Cage explains that the other clans began to segregate after the brawling outlaw, and Cage wants to recruit Dan and Drago into the Dragon Clan. While Dan immediately wants to join, Drago is very hesitant because of his philosophy of wanting all Bakugan to come together regardless of species.
You're a dragon Bakugan after all.
But
But nothing, we're in.
Okay, Dan joining him and Drago into the Dragon Clan without Drago's consent? Why on earth is this not a relationship plot point? But it's revealed Nilius, voiced by Alan Turner, is the leader of the Dragon Clan. I I really like how they gave Nilius a pretty compelling villain character in this generation, instead of him being Magnus's lapdog. In this generation, Nilius has both heads talking instead of it being ambiguous of which one is talking. It really does make them more creepy and also very menacing. Alan Turner manages to actually put distinction in both heads' voices. It's so cool. And I really like how in this scene he projects both voices very well, that if you listen very closely, it's like two devils over Drago's shoulders trying to convince Drago to fight Nilius. Mixing that with the animation of Drago turning his head, you can actually tell which head is talking.
You've joined us, our clan will be stronger. Always uncertain, doubting everything, refusing to make a choice.
So Nilius challenges Drago to a brawl because they're mortal enemies and all that.
Dragon Clear! Yeah!
Oh wow, no gate card set or even field open? Then this show is screwed! And wow, the versus screen shows up with the full arts. Now if only the stats had numbers instead of gibberish. Kinda makes this thing pointless, doesn't it? You also notice throughout the brawl there's no B power score at the bottom corners of the screen. Not sure if this was omitted on purpose or if they forgot to animate it, because this happened throughout the entire episode. Not that I'm complaining though, I never like seeing those. But watching this fight, it looks pretty cool. Really enjoying the focus on hand-to-hand fighting in the animation.
Crushing this.
Yeah, wow!
Instead of actually drawing or 3D animating original fighter effects, it seems like they just took whatever stock fire video and used that instead. You can actually see where they failed to wipe the green screen background. So after a little bit of action where Drago went full speed mode and Nilius recovers health, Cage and Dan race to the power band, but oh no, Dan falls into a trap, and Nilius just power kicks Drago to win.
You know, maybe joining these guys wasn't such a great idea.
So that was Gen 3, Episode 2. Let me know your rating of the show was in the comments down below. This was an alright episode, a slight improvement over the first episode. I do mean it when I say just slightly. I really do enjoy that the style they're going for in the Bakugan battles relies very heavily on hand-to-hand fighting animations rather than the Pokemon-style battle moves, only saving those for close to the big finish. The voice acting direction probably needs to be changed a little bit or the dialogue rewritten to better suit the atmosphere of the scenes. There was such a missed opportunity to really develop the relationship between Dan and Drago, have them not see eye to eye when Dan just puts down Drago's opinion on sticking with the plan, or when Dan signs them both up to join the Dragon Clan without consulting Drago first. But instead, Drago just drops in and goes along with whatever Dan does until the consequences actually show. If anything, it just makes Dan look like such an asshole. But the episode as a whole, I say was just good enough. So, I'll give this a special attack in the middle. Thank you for watching this review of Bakugan Gen 3. Be sure to press the like button and give us a subscribe for more awesome Bakugan content. I've been Haru Ren, thank God for Rapid Fire, and Ventry is based. Bye!